This week on the latest episode of The Big Show, Oscar nominations were announced this morning and history was made. I'm not going to say Charles and I told you, but we told you. Sinners, 16 nominations. We'll talk about that and what it portends for Oscar season, as well as the Oscar Paradox, a series yours truly created that Charles Kirkland's been giving me feedback on over the last 48 to 72 hours. We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll have reviews this week of new films, including Mercy and whatever else that's about to drop on streaming platforms, because that's what we do. We'll have all that and more on the latest episode of Keeping It Real with Film Gordon. Let's go. And welcome to the latest episode of Keeping It Real with Film Gordon. I am Tim Gordon, and I am joined by my brother who decided he would stay here instead of going to Sundance Film Festival, which also kicks off today. Charles Kirkland Jr., thank you for your contribution and thank you for staying.
What is a Sundance? I don't know what that is.
He's a hater, man. All right, so let's begin. Before we talk about just to set the table, Sinners, of course, is a movie since it dropped in April that has been my favorite film of the year. I know Charles had it as his favorite film of the year. I've gone to festivals. I was at Sundance a year ago. Train Dreams, really good movie. It got nominated for Best Picture this morning. Another film that I like coming out of Toronto was Hamnet. It got nominated for Best Picture this morning, along with
Ooh, we're not touting
Stop it,
Hamnet
man.
anymore.
Stop it, bro. Stop. There's time to do that off air. I'm talking about for our audience. They need to understand us as film critics. These are films we've seen, right? So Hamnet nominated. Train Dreams nominated. One Battle After Another, of course, was nominated along with Sinners, right? But the surprise of the morning, and I don't think you knew this, Charles, because we literally had a conversation about an hour ago. Wicked for Good shut out.
No
Nothing.
nominations, nothing.
None.
Not Ariana, not Cynthia,
Not
nothing.
Paul Tazwell, nothing. Now, you know what I mean, that last name I just gave you,
Right.
because we might see some history this year. Because the one person that I thought that could stop Ruth was Paul Tazwell. Paul Tazwell's not in the race this year. Charles? Okay. All right. So for you at home, like, what are they talking about? All right. So let's go through this,
Yeah,
right?
this is significant. This is
Okay.
really
So this is
significant.
significant. So let me set the table. So earlier this week, I was inspired because I knew I had gotten a lot of calls, as you had as well, Charles, and other colleagues of ours had gotten after watching the Critics' Choice Association Awards in early January and watching the Golden Globes, right? Now, the Critics' Choice Awards are voted on by 600 of the critics, the largest critics, and we belong to the largest critics association in the country. And for full disclosure, Charles Kirkland and I are both voters of the Critics' Choice Association, right? So it was our votes that were a part of I'm not going to say the reason why Sinners didn't win, because I voted for Sinners and I know you did as well for Best Picture, and it didn't win, right?
Right.
A week later, the Hollywood Foreign Press, which are critics outside the United States, Mongolia, Argentina, Spain, etc., right? Voted. And again, not only did Sinners not win, because it was separated, they separated the awards, right? So in the Golden Globes, you have Best Picture, Musical and Comedy, Best Picture, Drama, right? So I get that and Warner Brothers strategically did this, that they put One Battle After Another in the musical comedy category, and they put Sinners in the drama category because they were trying to achieve the effect they got this morning, right? To get
They
the
they wanted to corner the market.
they wanted it right. And so Sinners did not win. It lost to Hamnet, which led to a rant, as they would say in the streets, and a not safe for work rant from me. Like, come on, man. Now, as much as I love Hamnet, Hamlet's not Sinners, right? And we had that talk on our last podcast, right? So now again this morning, I go in and it's a couple of days before the Oscars, and everybody's like, "Man, I'm doing previews," and I saw some sites where Sinners can get 14 nominations. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm tired of all of this." I said, nominations are one thing, but history has shown over the course of 97 years that we have a paradox, right? We there's a certain thing they like, and then there's certain things they can appreciate, but not certain things that they feel like we feel when they're films that we like. And there've been so many performances, Charles, that we've talked about in the past over the years that I just thought that got nominated but just didn't take it home. Watching Denzel not taking it home a couple of times when I thought he should have won. Not seeing Angela Bassett take it home in 1993 when she did, or 1994, excuse me, when she did What's Love Got to Do with It, and then not seeing her take it home again when she was Queen Ramonda in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, right? Seeing Chadwick Boseman in his final attempt not taking it home. So I have this what they call Oscar PTSD of like watching this show for so many decades and seeing things happening, even though people go, "Ooh, I'm in the room." So fast forward to this week, I create a three-part series called The Oscar Paradox. And the Oscar Paradox, Charles, I'm not going to labor this, but I just want to touch on it for a second to set up what we're going to be talking about, right? So the Oscar Paradox was a three-part series, and I'm trying to go back and look at the titles. The first one was Recognition, Resistance, and the Cost of Winning, right? And we talked about what does it really mean to win an Oscar. The second one was the perception of Oscar, right? Like, how do they look at people, and how do they look at our films as it relates to the types of films and performances they like to vote for versus the ones they don't, right? And then the final one, which was the day, Charles, was who gets the vote, man? The power perspective and why the math never changes. Talking about the Academy has a 10,000 member voting academy, but outside of that, 20% of that are black and brown people, and maybe a little less. And why the math never changes, because even in a situation like today, we're now in a situation where it's now in the hands of the voters, Charles. And for some people, Sinners has entered that cultural zeitgeist moment that Get Out was about 10 years ago, right? Where you would go everywhere and people go, "Did you see Get Out? Oh man, ooh, blah." So Sinners is now that movie, right? Did you see Sinners? Oh man, I've seen Sinners 3 times. So I talk a little bit about that in the series. So now fast forward to this morning, Charles. I had sent out a piece to my brother in Philly, WURD Philadelphia, that I talk radio station that I do a lot of stuff with. And I'm being interviewed at 8:40 this morning. The Oscar nominations are at 8:30. So Charles, you were in the classroom when this happened, and they had the first half of the Oscar nomination because one of the cool things they do
Right.
now is they announce all the nominations. Back in the day, they would like, "We're gonna give you these 12, and then you find the rest of them on our site." Like, nah, nah, nah. We giving you the whole thing, right? So I'm watching it, and I'm paying attention, but I'm not really paying attention. But every category that it was eligible for, I kept hearing Sinners.
Sinners.
I was like, huh.
Sinners.
So the next category that was like best
Sinners.
production design, Sinners,
Sinners.
huh? So the next category, they said we're gonna do the acting categories. Best supporting actress, Sinners. Best supporting actor, Sinners. I said, huh? So,
Here's the even better part about it, because in every category, Sinners is like the bottom of the list because they do it alphabetically by the
right.
name of the movie. So they name all these films and then they get down to and Sinners.
Sinners. Well, I was like, whoa. And then the one that really tripped me out was they were like, "We have a brand new category this year. We're doing casting." And then they read them off, and to your point, Sinners. I said, damn. When Sinners got nominated for hair and makeup, I was like, hmm. So I told the guy, and I'm doing the show live as this happening, right? So I'm watching it with the sound down, and I'm seeing Sinners, right? And I told him, I said, man, I think, this is exactly what I said. I think it broke the record. I just don't know how many it got. And I said, let me try to look for it. And I went to look for it, and I couldn't find it. I said, never mind, man. Let's just say it broke a record. I'll find out what the number is, and I'll text you back. So as soon as I got off the phone, the number popped up, and I texted him back, and he sent me an emoji with three exclamation points that were in red, like, I said, so yes, congratulations to Ryan Coogler and the entire team at Proximity Media, him and his wife Zinzi. I forget what his partner's name is. The folks over at Warner Brothers who ended up between Sinners and One Battle After Another, getting 29 Oscar nominations this morning between just those two films, right?
Yeah.
13 for One Battle After Another, 16 for Sinners. Now, let's have a frank conversation. But before we start the frank conversation, Charles Kirkland, give me your Sinners feedback, and then I want to go through these nominations and let's really have a talk about some of these surprises and snubs before we start breaking down category by category how many we at this point we conceivably think it could win. And I think that's the question right now.
Um, as we went through this, I really, I think it was a really big snub that Wicked for Good got no nominations. I thought I heard Paul Tazwell's name mentioned in Best Costuming, but it wasn't, which is surprising because he just won the Oscar last year for the original Wicked. So, uh, but then again, as we see Sinners come on, Sinners, I'm just confused as to how some people just thought this film wasn't that great and didn't have it in there, even in their top 20 of films of the year. And all of a sudden, it's got the 16 nominations, which two more than the record ever was before. And yes, they created a new category this year for casting. So if they didn't, it still would have broken the record at 15. So I'm extremely happy to see it do so well. The question now becomes nominations are one thing, wins are another. I remember back in 1985, there was another film that had broken the
11.
record of 11 nominations and came away with zero, zero. And
Oh, I'm
so,
sorry, man. I was watching, I was listening to you. I was just reading Variety, looking through their top 20 films of the year. And I noticed that the film that got all the nominations this morning wasn't one of the top 20. Is that an accident?
something happened. I don't know. I don't know.
Ooh, ooh. Take that. Now watch this. And I might not shouldn't say this because I'll probably get in trouble, but there's a person that's behind these publications, and we have the name, but I don't feel like I need to put that out there because I'm not going to war with the trades. But I'll just say that the trades have not been kind to Ryan Coogler and Sinners, right? So that's number one. But Charles is right. So Wicked for Good, um, I, there's something to be said, Charles. And I say the same things over and over. And I know if there are people who listen to this podcast over the years have heard me say these things, and I know you have, right? Whenever we're talking about doing musicals, I always say the same thing, right? So when we're making films, it's always about story, right? In real estate is location, right? If you're doing a musical and you don't have a good song book, and nobody can remember any of the songs in your film or your musical, Wicked for Good, the first one, great. Nominated, won two Oscars, costume and production design. We talked about Paul Tazwell last year. I went back to watch this film and I remember sitting there and it was me and Travis Hobson. And we sat there and watched it and I was like, There was no memorable song in it. The fact that Cynthia Erivo didn't get a nomination was shocking to me. I thought she did really really well in both of these stories, given the complexity and the nuances of what she had to do. Right, I know a lot of it was green screen, but I thought it was very well done, and I'm surprised. And I just think for Universal, that's such a miss, man, because again, there was a lot of oxygen taking up this award season with Warner Brothers, man. We had talked for months about the year Warner Brothers had, right? Warner Brothers was actually able to get Oscar nominations, not just for Sinners and One Battle After Another. They were actually able to get some for what's the horror movie Weapons.
Weapons.
Got nominations for Weapons this morning. So Warner Brothers, man, had their machine like way up here, and the amount of money they spent and the attention they got this year. So that one was interesting too. So nothing for Wicked. Now here's the other one that's interesting because I'm going through the snubs and surprises right now, Charles. Delroy Lindo, as we talked about earlier, was nominated this morning, right?
Yes.
But guess who didn't get nominated? And people are saying that this person got nominated over that person. Paul Mescal from Hamnet did not get nominated for Best Actor this morning. Now, you've heard me say with this film, Jessica Buckley is literally going to win. I think she's the leader in the house right now for Best Actress. Right? She is the
It's just
emotional
Jesse.
core.
It's just Jesse. It's not
Is it
Jessica.
Jesse? I thought it got Jessica. So Jesse Buckley is the lead, at least for me, is the leader in the clubhouse for Best Actress right now. She's
Yeah.
sensational in this film. She's so sensational that Paul Mescal, who is opposite her, they left him home. He didn't get invited to the party this year, but Delroy Lindo did, which again speaks to when a film is that popular, it pulls people along. And my theory, Charles, is that the only reason why much like the Black Reel Awards, right? It was nominated, we nominated it 21 times, right, for our award. And the only category it didn't receive a nomination that it was eligible in was the same category it didn't get nominated for an Oscar because there was technically no Best Actress. But
Right.
had there been one, yeah, somebody else would have got pushed out of this category if there had been one in this film.
One Battle After Another had two nominees in the Best Supporting Actor category. Sinners could have had two because Miles Catton probably should have been nominated as well. But it's just a really tight category, and somehow Paul Mescal just fell short. I mean, if you look at the category, there's a lot of people in there, and I don't. It's the I don't know if it's a snub or not because you look at the category, it's tight. It really is.
Now here's another shocker right here. The Best Actress lineup. Chase Infinity, who everybody heralded from One Battle After Another, right? Thought that she had a good opportunity to get a nomination. She did, Charles, until this other little movie came out in December called Song
Song
Sung
sung
Blue
blue.
with Kate Hudson. And Kate Hudson as half of Thunder and Lightning. Now think about it. Did Hugh Jackman get nominated?
He did not.
Kate Hudson got in. Now that's interesting to me. Now you watched Song Sung Blue. I thought Hugh Jackman's character. You thought Kate Hudson was better than Hugh Jackman in this? Hugh Jackman?
Well, but again, we're looking at what's happening in the category. Jackman was put in as a supporting actor in that movie, and
Ah,
not as a best actor. And they had Kate Hudson as the lead as the best actress. So he there was no way he was going to fit in that category. They might have had a better chance putting him in the best actor category, but again, that category is super tight as well. But the Kate Hudson pick, I will also do a film group, the Washington Film DC Film Society, and we did our Oscar nominations we did our picks on Monday, so our nominations just came out as well. And Kate Hudson got a lot of pulls. She's got heritage in the academy. So there was a lot of push for her, and I can't say I feel bad about it. I think she was really good in this movie, and so I don't have a problem with her being in that category.
Man, she took Chase Infinity's spot, man. So this speaks to no, but let me finish, y'all.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
speaks a
yeah.
little bit to when I tell you, like, we watch the Oscars, right? And then there are nights when it's going to be a special night for a film. And the last time I really saw it happen was Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, right? And I remember watching that show early on, and this had to be 20 years ago. And when it started winning like all the smaller awards, I was like, uh-oh, this is gonna be an avalanche tonight. And it wound up winning 11 Oscars. That thing was it was huge. But today it reminded me of that when we laughed and clowned about Sinners earlier. But another film, and I didn't see this one coming either. F1 got a Best Picture nomination this morning.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Woo. That's interesting. I mean, thoughts?
Again, I thought that was possible. They've been getting a lot of awards for editing and cinematography. It just kind of added up. People really like that film. It's got a really smart cast. It's very action driven. This is and every year one of the Best Picture nominees has got that action driven style to it. And F1 was just the one that fit in that category. We didn't have a Mission Impossible or we did have a couple Marvel movies that really didn't add up to anything. So this was the one category, the genre of film that got represented, and that's F1 did the action category. So there you go.
All right, so man, The Testament of Ann Lee. Did you watch this movie?
I did. Um,
Uh, Shut out.
what
Wow. For people at home, talk a
kind of
little bit about
deserved?
just
It's
the
kind of
get,
deserved though.
look, Charles, just give them the synopsis of The Testament of Ann Lee,
Um,
Amanda
uh,
Seyfried's movie.
so why do I have to do it?
I'll do it, man. I remember, I'll just say this, man, without going into detail. A publicist came up to me and said, Tim, did you see The Testament of Ann Lee? I said, no, I heard about it. Is this something I should check out? And the publicist took a deep breath and was like, um, it's very weird. I said, what do we define weird as? She said it's a Salem witch trial musical. I was like, wait, what? And I tried to watch it, and I must confess, I couldn't get through it, man. I maybe lasted about 25 minutes, and I was like, mm-mm. It's not working. It's not working.
Yeah, I mean, when I sat down and I watched this, the only thing that made me sit through it was like, I got to tell somebody about this movie. Now, I got to make sure that people just don't go see this movie. God, there's no it was hard. It was hard. It was really hard to watch. And I mean, I'm a musical fan. But this was just super weird and just yuck, yuck.
Okay, I got another one for you, man. One of the nominees this morning for best costume. So Wicked didn't make it, but Avatar, Fire and Ash did. Now, here's the thing that's interesting because at first thought, Charles, how does a movie with characters in 3D get a costume nomination? But from what it turns out, every Avatar costume is made in real life before entering Pandora. I don't who researched that and knew that when they put it in the category.
I think that had to have been the studio pushing that through because first of all, Avatar Fire and Ash was released so late in the year. I was surprised that it was going to get any recognition. So it had to be studio driven in everything that any award that it got, and so they had to. And you look at Avatar, and you're like, "Oh, this is animated. How is this going to be costume design?" And so they somehow explain it, but I still like I don't really get it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that really counts, but it is what it is.
All right, man. So I was gonna go to the last one, but now I think it's time for us to do a breakdown, man. I want to go through each category because I definitely want to have an idea of where Sinners is right now in my mind, and then we'll revisit this, Charles, the weekend before the Academy Awards, and we'll talk about this a little bit more.
Let's not bury the lead on this. Let's
Okay,
start
go
with
ahead.
the best costume design because we got really something really significant that could be happening in this category.
Okay, let's go. I'm trying to find the actual nominees.
Well,
Like,
if you would like, I can read them for you.
well, no, no, no. I want to be able to follow along because I don't want you, because I'll be like, ah. Okay, so in costume design, go ahead and read the nominees.
The best nominees for the nominees for best costume design are Avatar, Fire and Ash, Deborah L. Scott, Frankenstein, Kate Hawley, Hamnet, Magalo,
Don't just say Hamnet, man.
Marty Supreme, Miyako Belize, and Sinners, Ruth E. Carter.
All right. So we had a conversation an hour ago, right? And as a part of when I talked about the Oscar paradox and we talked about the history of Oscar. In the entire 97-year history of the Academy Awards, there's only been five black people that have won multiple competitive Oscars. No honoraries, just in competition Oscars. And the most is two, right? So of course Denzel Washington, Mahershala Ali, Willie Burton, Russell Williams II, and the aforementioned Ruthie Carter. Now, when Charles says that we are on the verge of something special, a year ago, I want to say Ruthie Carter was nominated last year. I don't remember what it was for, but she didn't win. She lost to Paul Tazwell, right? And
She,
Paul Tazwell, was she
uh,
nominated
her,
last year?
not last year. Her last nomination was in 23 for Wakanda Forever.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. My apologies. So Paul Tazwell won last year, and the assumption was that since Wicked was a two-parter, he would easily get nominated again because I think in all the other shows, for the Globes and for CCA, Paul Tazwell had been nominated, right? And Ruthie Carter is in the race this year. And if Ruthie Carter gets her name called, and as I look at this category, and I'm not being funny, Charles, she's got a good shot. She's got a good shot to become the first black person to win three Oscars this year.
Three.
That would be huge for Ruthie Carter, who's been a costume designer, a woman I know and have hung out with. Ruthie Carter is mad cool. Matter of fact, I told you the story. She's also ultra competitive because once I interviewed her and we went out to a rap party and they had a ping pong table and I'm being nice. I'm like, oh, I told you the story. I'm being nice.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
she
yeah.
slammed in my face and I went, oh, we playing for real? So I had to hustle and fight to take her out 2 sets to 1. So Ruthie Carter is an amazing costume designer, an HBCU student coming out of the old Hampton Institute. Sister that's mad cool, love me some Ruthie, cut her teeth, working for Spike and a bunch of other people. Bruh, if she can get to 3 Oscars, man, it's legendary for Ruthie Carter, man.
Yeah.
Legendary for her. So that
And
is one of the
this is
races that we will be watching.
a border that people have been bumping their heads against. It's not like the people in the two nomination club never got nominated again. And we can talk about Denzel, and we can talk about all these people who've had opportunities to get that third Oscar and just haven't. And
Right.
so this is her opportunity to get her third Oscar.
Whew.
And I mean,
So,
hey,
so let's move to the other category that's going to be hotly discussed over the next 6 weeks to the Oscars, right? And that's Best Director, right? The nominees this year, since Charles did costume, I'll do directing, is Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, already an Oscar winner, right? Josh Safdie, Marty Supreme. Paul Thomas Anderson, one battle after another. Joachim Trier, I think I'm pronouncing that right, for Sentimental Value, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. Now, here's what I would say going in. Paul Thomas Anderson has won both the Critics' Choice Association and the Golden Globe, right? We later
Right.
on we'll figure out, Charles, that we'll have the DGA awards, and that'll be a precursor. The PGAs and all these other things will be precursors. But right now, Ryan Coogler is two things, right? They come to mind immediately, right? What happened with the Golden Globes is an outlier because that's a bunch of voters that don't vote here, right? What happened with the CCAs don't really matter because critics don't vote for the Oscars. So if Ryan Coogler was able from the Academy Award voting academy or voting branches get 16 nominations, Charles, is it me by just saying that this is a fresh slate? It almost seems like his film is the film of the moment. And what happened before it may not have any bearing what happens after it until we see some other precursors like SAG and some of these other shows, DGA, PGA. But it's going to be very interesting. I think right now, I would call it almost even money, Charles. Like if I said Ruthie Carter has a great opportunity, I think with Paul Tazwell not being in the race, who just won last year, I think that opens up the door for Ruthie Carter to saunter in for a third one, unless there's an upset. But the upset would have to come from, how do I say this? It would have to come from a place of, hey man, Sinners has already got all these nominations, going to win enough. I don't know. I mean, what are you thinking, Charles, as it relates to Ryan Coogler's chances in this category? Because I'm thinking it's 50-50 right now between him and Paul Thomas Anderson.
It's I would say maybe 40-60 because the problem is Paul Thomas Anderson has been nominated for this award 14 times. This is his 14th nomination.
For Best
And
Director?
yeah,
Are you sure?
I believe it's a lot between him and his films. He's been nominated 14 times.
Okay, hold on a second. You just put out a number. I think that would have been the lead if somebody would have came with that. Hold on a second. How many nominations for Best Director? Not period, for Best Director.
Okay, so I mean if 14 times includes screenplay and picture, so he's been nominated a lot of times.
All right, hold on a
One,
second. Go ahead.
two,
Go ahead. I'm just looking something up right
three,
now. Three. He's been nominated three times.
four,
There Will Be Blood, The Master, and The Phantom Thread. And now
and
with one battle after another. So
and
this
now
is
this one.
fourth. So this is his fourth nomination for Best Director, and he's never won. This
He's
is
never
Ryan
won.
Coogler's first nomination.
Right.
Hmm. Okay. I mean, there's something to be said about that. Yeah. I mean,
On on
yeah.
on top of all the screenplays that he's adapted and best motion pictures that he's got a total of 14 altogether. So
Man,
this
he
is
didn't win
kind
for There Will Be Blood, The
nope,
Master, and ooh. Well,
nope.
Phantom Thread, and The Master are really good movies, but There Will Be Blood. Oof. That's like you stole one from him. I would love to see who beat him that year. I would in 2007. What actually beat Paul Thomas Anderson that year?
I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head, but all I know is anytime that you go so many times and don't win, it was probably No Country for Old Men, I think it was. But anyway, anytime you get nominated that many times and you don't get an award, Oscar starts tilting towards you,
Yeah.
and it's possible that he could sneak away with it, and you know how they like. I don't want to mention it, how they like to treat black people. You can win the best picture, but you can't win the director too. So it might get
Right.
that split. So
So that's what happened. That's what happened to Barry Jenkins the
yep,
year that Moonlight won. But I was going to say the effect that you're describing, I'll just put a name on it. You're calling it, this is the Al Pacino effect, right?
right,
So when Denzel Washington was up for Malcolm X in 1990, the Oscars in 1993 for what he did in 92, Pacino had been nominated 6 times before that and hadn't won. And this was Denzel Washington's first nomination for Best Actor, right? He had
right.
won several years earlier for Best Supporting Actor for Glory, but hadn't been nominated for Best Actor, right? And the thought whenever that happens is people like, oh, you'll get back. You know, it's your first time. You'll get back. This guy's been there. This is his fourth trip to the show. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Charles, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I think you have a point, and that's a really good analysis of that. Damn. That's look,
I,
can't argue with that one.
I hate to mention it because you know how much I want him to win, but I don't know. I don't know.
Well. Saying that, when we get to best screenplay, and of course it's Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. This is one of the two that I earmarked that Ryan Coogler will get an Oscar. He'll take this one home. If he
Yeah.
doesn't get director, he should get writing because the screenplay for Sinners is just it's great. So I mean, any objection to that one, Charles, for writing
No,
original screenplay?
none whatsoever. None whatsoever.
Now, the other part that's funny is that now also let's just say this, right? One of the anomalies of this year is that the two films that people think are the best two movies of the year and are going to go head to head are literally from the same studio, which means that the same marketing group that's pushing one battle after the other is the same group that's pushing Sinners. So it's almost like they're fighting against each other. And I'm not sure how they would do it in Warner Brothers. This half the marketing team go, you're on the one battle team, you're on the Sinners team, go get them. Like, how does that work?
It,
It is
it,
crazy, Charles, crazy.
well, you had a story when you went to the celebration of Black cinema, and you see the two vice heads of the studio, one at one table and one at the other. It's just, hey, this is where we are, and yeah, we're gonna fight. I mean, we're gonna fight each other. It's just like in F1. It's like it's gonna be hard to pass. You're gonna have to work to get past this. So,
Wow. Well, I mean, to your point, man. So, having said that, in the adapted screenplay, this one is easy because you got Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, one battle after the other in Train Dreams. And if Paul Thomas Anderson hasn't won an Oscar, both him and Ryan Coogler can stand side by side holding writing awards, right? Like they'll have Oscars. So that's going to be interesting to watch, right? So I would handicap that that's PTA all day. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, Charles. You any pushback on adapted screenplay with Paul Thomas Anderson one battle after another?
I mean, I have no question. You might mention Train Dreams because you love that film. I loved it a lot more than I did, but and Hamnet, which is a fantastic movie in its right, but nothing measures up to one battle after another, and I think it's clearly the category front runner here.
All right, visual effects, man. This is an interesting one because I have a theory here too. You got Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. If this was a card game, Charles, we're just going to take the Jurassic World Rebirth and Lost Bus and scoot them to the side, right? You're out of the picture. So now it becomes Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, and Sinners. And the argument I would make, right, if you're a voter, right, and they're watching these movies, the I forget what Ryan Coogler calls the scene. That's the juke joint scene in the middle, right? He calls it something montage, right? That one scene of the montage to me is better as a visual effect than anything that's in Avatar, Fire and Ash in F1. Argue with me and tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, first of all, I haven't seen Avatar Fire and Ash to confirm or deny that.
Okay.
And but I do believe that it's better than F1 because F1 just has the racing sequences, which they do really well and they put together very well. But it's not that scene. It's not that. And if it comes down to just one scene, yeah. But if you're thinking overall, I wouldn't put it past Jurassic World or Avatar because of uh how much effects they put into the film versus the one scene from Sinners
Okay. I
or the
mean,
one or two scenes.
see, what I'm thinking and what I'm counting on is what I call Oscar voter apathy, right? And I'm counting that you're not going to sit down and watch all these movies, but you are going to talk to somebody who saw Sinners. And I guarantee you, if you talk to them, they're going to talk about that scene. I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong, Charles?
Can I just say while we're here, I'm
Yes.
surprised that the Lost Bus got into the category. It's not that but you got in the same year you have Weapons and Superman. I know Superman is another Warner property, but I think the visual effects in both of those were, I don't know. I mean, you just got a bus going through fire, and
Sir, that
I
burning
don't know.
bus going through fire was hella impressive. I saw that in Toronto. I was like, woo, woo. I felt warm in my seat watching
I,
that. I was like,
I
wow.
I have to agree. I have to agree. I was a little heated myself, but
All right, up next, man, is sound, right? F1, Frankenstein, one battle after another, Sinners, and Surratt. All right, one more time, man. If it's a card game, man, I'm moving Surratt over to the corner. You can go to the small kids international table. You over there? And now let's talk about Frankenstein and F1, right? F1, we talking about a movie with race cars. Sound is amazing in this, right? Frankenstein, there's some sequences early on when the monster is looking for Victor Frankenstein and is out in the cold and that ice. Really good visual effects in that. Really good. And then
and
there's one,
you got that creaky old ship rubbing it up against the ice and everything. It's really
it's
smart.
really good. And then there's the Warner Brother twins. One battle after another, and Sinners. Sinners again, a movie about music, vampires, and some other stuff. One battle after another. A group of revolutionaries. What do they call themselves? The French 75? Did I get that right? The
Something like that. I can't
something
remember right now.
75.
Yeah,
Viva la Revolution!
yeah.
If you because these will get announced either early or in the middle of the show, and if Sinners is winning this, it's gonna be a big night. It's gonna be a big night, Charles. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about when you got a bunch of nominations and you see something special brewing. It'll be these sorts of categories. I don't know, but all I know is that people usually lean to whatever has the most nominations. It's all psychological, man. Tim's not making this up. This is 30, almost 35 years professionally watching the Oscars and then watching them years before I was doing any of this. It's just the way it's always worked. And which leads us again, Charles, to another one of my favorite categories, production design. Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, one battle after another, Sinners. Charles, do I have to say it? You start this time. Do I have to say it?
Look, it's funny. Again, you did the whole list and you got down to sinners.
Sinners.
So you can do all the whole list, but when it all breaks down, it comes down to sinners. No, now if Wicked for Good were in there, they would have been after sinners, but they struck Wicked out so that the last thing you say is sinners.
Which also presents another historic moment. You want to
It
take this
does.
historic moment? You don't want
No,
to
I
take
don't.
this. You don't want to take this historic moment.
No, you go ahead. I don't know what you're referring to.
One person in this category, at least I know, has already won an Oscar, and that was Hannah Beachler, right? Hannah
Right.
Beachler is up for her second Oscar. So we've talked all show
Oh,
about there's this small exclusive club of two-time Oscar winners, right? Ruthie
I
Carter,
should have thought of that.
yeah, Ruthie Carter is already in the club. If Hannah
Because
Beachler,
it's a cooler thing, and the list I'm looking at the actual people, so I didn't see Hannah Beachler's name, but
yeah,
if I'd seen that, I'm like, yeah, oh yeah,
so
okay,
Hannah Beachler is vying to become the sixth two-time winner, right? So she can make history if it wins production design, which it has again, I would put the odds at 60-40 in this category.
yeah,
I'm not going to say it's 50-50. I think Hannah Beachler, because of what Sinners is, yeah, if it can win costume, it can win production design, which leads me to Best Picture. Now, this is the fun one right here. We've already talked about it. The two best films. But anyways, Train Dreams, Sinners, Sentimental Value, The Secret Agent, One Battle after another, Marty Supreme, Hamnet, Frankenstein, F1, and Begonia. Um, I think going in right now, I would probably say that One Battle After Another, because it's won the first two awards, but as I said earlier, really has no bearing on what Oscar is doing. It received 13 total nominations, so it's a film that's very well regarded, not as
yep.
well as Sinners was. I think man, and in this moment, it's either going to be, I would say it's one of these two, because I'm going to tell you now, Charles, and if this happens, I'm going to be screaming from the mountaintop. If Hamnet wins Best Picture over Sinners in One Battle After Another, now, if it loses the one battle, I can respect that, right? I mean, when I say I can respect it,
Nah,
I mean it can't lose to anything else in this category because look, I'm with you, man. I still say right now 60-40 that I think, or let me round it off and make it even closer. It's 55-45 or 51-49 right now between those two films, man.
I know what you're doing. I know what
I
you're doing.
mean, I'm
You don't want to say it with your chest because you don't want to get heartbroken because
I don't. I don't, man. I don't
you
want to get heartbroken because, like, if it lost to one battle, I would say I don't like it, but I can respect that because one battle is a great film. If it lost to anything else other than that, I'd be
anything,
like, come
anything.
on.
I'm like I'm
Like you
riding.
heard me say already, really? Hamnet? Come on, man. Hamnet is not this movie, right? So I don't know, Charles. I mean, he said I want to say it with my chest. I do not want to say it with my chest because I got PTSD. I said that when we started doing this podcast today. I got issues. All
But the
right,
truth,
man.
but the truth is, you want to say it, but you're scared to say it. That's all it is to it. Yeah, we've been beaten down so many times by in this category, and it's hard to throw your chips in because you never know what's going to happen. You in our minds, it's clear, but you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen.
So this
The one thing that did surprise me though is that we got two foreign films in the top 10 this year, which was The Secret Agent and
sentimental
Sentimental
value.
Value. That was kind of surprising to me. I think also to the fact that I don't think Sentimental Value didn't get nominated for Best International Film. Is that correct?
I would
Did I
say
hear
I
that?
don't know. I haven't gotten there yet. Hold on a second. Sentimental value.
Oh,
It
it did. It
did.
did.
Yeah, it did. It comes
Okay.
out of Norway. But I was going to say this next category is deeply personal to me, and I'm trying to look at it and analyze it correctly. Best original song. Now, Charles knows this because he's known me for a while, and you feel some kind of way about this as well. Diane Warren is a friend. Diane Warren is my girl. Every time I see her, we have lots of fun. And I could show you some pictures because, people look at Diane Warren and she's a talented songwriter, but she's got edge. She's like I call her a rebel. Diane Warren is just nuts. She'll say crazy stuff, she'll do crazy stuff. She has a picture where she's flipping me off, but instead of it being her finger as a French fry, I mean, it's just crazy stuff that Diane Warren does, right? And I left her a message because her documentary, Relentless, came out, I think late in the fall or early winter. And I thought it was a great film, man. I mean, great look at her, this woman who is just uber talented, man. Just, I don't even know how many nominations this is for her. This might be,
Nine.
no, it's nine. Hell, she's like either
N-
17,
No,
16.
no, no. This is nine in a row, 9 years
Oh,
straight.
9 years in a row. How many overall? She had like 17?
I think yeah, it's definitely 17
Something
because
crazy.
when they did the documentary, she was at 15 and she got the 16th the year that it came out, and now this year is the 17th. This is her
17
17th
nomination.
total. 9 years straight
Great
she's been
that she's been
nominated in this
nominated.
category.
She shows up. She's got a running date every year at the Oscars, and every year she goes and she comes home and goes, well, maybe this next year. So her documentary, she's nominated for Dear Me, which she wrote the music and lyrics. I Lied to You from Sinners. The only reason why I'm a little skeptical about this is that I Lied to You works great in the movie as a visual effect, but it doesn't work that well as like a regular song. Like you're not gonna ride around in your car and be like, uh, I told my daddy when it's just it's not gonna work. It doesn't work, and I think that might be the drawback for it in this category because Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters was what won was that Golden Globes, right? That won the
Yes.
Globes, and I think it also won the CCAs, right?
Yeah,
I want to say.
unfortunately. I
So I
mean,
think I think it's just a punchier. I just think now I Lied to You in the movie works really well, but it's not a song that you're gonna sing outside the movie. Where with Golden, yes, you will. So that might be the issue that it has there, and even overshadowing what Diane Warren and Nick Cave are doing with Train Dreams and Viva Verde for Sweet Dreams of Joy. I don't see that. That to me feels like the one that's gonna probably win in this category, man.
the sad thing about it is you talked about the Al Pacino effect earlier in the show. It's not working for Diane. I mean, for her, she's done, like you said, this is 17, and she's run up against two really good songs that'll probably finish ahead of her. And honestly, Relentless is a great film that is made specifically to have Dear Me nominated as for the Academy Award. I mean, but I don't. We're gonna have to try it again next year. I love Diane Warren, and I joked with her several years ago. I said I think the only way you're gonna win it is you do a movie about yourself and she said, oh, that would be so boring, and she looked at me like. So either I planted that idea in her head or it was already in motion, but it's just not going to happen this year.
All
I'm
right, man.
sorry, Diane.
We running up tight on time, and again, I'll just say this much for our review of what is the movie Mercy. I'll just easily say you could read the review at thefilmgordon.com. I was much nicer to this film than Charles Kirkland would have been. Let's just say
I
that
wonder why. I wonder why.
yeah, no, no, we won't go there. But I gave it a C minus, man. So you can read the review on the site. Charles would have probably given it a D minus or a D plus, but
Probably a D plus, but
a D
okay.
plus. All right, so got a couple more minutes, man. Makeup and hairstyle. We got Frankenstein, Kokuho, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister. I'm not gonna say it, but I think it's either Sinners or Frankenstein in that category. Uh,
Hey,
Hey man, look, sir. I'm gonna skip over live action as short and international film. Of course, international short. I mean, international. I'm gonna probably give to Sentimental Value or The Secret Agent. It's gonna probably be one of those two. Film editing. Sinners is nominated again alongside One Battle, Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme, and F1. Whew, it's gonna be another good one. Documentary short. No documentary. My board member did not get nominated this year for his film. Holding Liat did not get nominated from the Oscars, and I was shocked by that. So that was a snub.
I was a little surprised.
I was surprised too. Directing, we talked earlier, Hamnet with Chloe Zhao, Josh Safdie, Paul Thomas Anderson, Joachim Trier, and Ryan Coogler. Ugh, well, to be continued. We talked costumes, cinematography. Sinners is in that category again. Opposite One Battle with Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, and Train Dreams. Casting, the new category. Sinners is in that one. One Battle's in that one. So, I mean, this is going to be the theme all award season, man. This is what we're going to be talking about all award season. And finally, Weapons got in, as we said earlier, for supporting actress alongside Tiana Taylor, Wunmi Musaku, Amy Madigan, Inga, what I can't pronounce her name,
Its daughter
Ibsada
Lilius.
Lilius, and Elle
Yes.
Fanning. So they got two in for that category. That's pretty
Yeah.
interesting. Two
Yeah.
for sentimental value. Jesse Buckley, Rose Byrne, Kate Hudson, Renate Reese
Riensva.
Rienzva, and Emma Stone for actress. And like I said earlier, that's Jesse Buckley all day
That's
for me.
Jesse all day long.
All day actor in the supporting role. Is Sean Penn still the man for One Battle? Or is
It's
it Benicio del Toro? And do they both split and either Delroy or Jacob slide in there?
I think you're overlooking Stellan Skarsgård in
Really
sentimental
good.
value.
He's really good.
He's really good in that movie. Really good. So much so that he probably is the lead actor, but just was put in the supporting actor category.
So here's my question in the final category: actor in the lead role, Timothy Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, and Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. My question for Michael B. Jordan is he nominated for playing Smoke or Stack? Or the vampire that Stacks becomes. Which role is he getting nominated for out of this one category? Because they should have nominated him twice since he played dual characters. Or unless they're saying that one character or the other two characters weren't as good as one of these characters.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. This is one of those times when you could legitimately well, no, you can't. It's one performance. It's one performance in a triple role, and so yeah, but it's probably not going to win.
Oh,
Probably not.
man. Yeah, probably not, man. So Charles Kirkland, to be continued, man. So what did it sound like? Did we pick seven? At least seven of these things at one? Did I
You
think
know,
of
I really haven't gone through the count, but yeah, probably maybe. I'm not. I'm going to be generous and say six, but it could be seven.
Yeah. Well, if it won seven Oscars, that would be a good night. As long as you get one of the major awards, right? One of the major awards is either picture, director, actor. You got to get one of those big three. And out of that, you got Jordan, Coogler, and Coogler as a director, and then maybe perhaps writing, screenwriting as well. So I don't know, man. But I think both he and Paul Thomas Anderson, since they've split it from original and adapted, that they both have a shot. And I think that would be best case scenario for the folks at Warner Brothers. That would be great for them. Probably great for us as well because Paul Thomas Anderson deserves an Oscar. But how many is going to be the key? Because
Right.
one person is going to get a writing one, and then there might be a director and a Best Picture statue. So you go home like this, if you really having a good night. But let me get out of here, man. We got about a couple of seconds left. Charles, any closing thoughts before we hit the road?
No, I think I'm good. It's been a wonderful, interesting day as far as the Oscar nominations go, and nominations are one thing. The wins are what really matters.
Check out
Let's
the
see what
Oscar
happens.
Paradox, man, over at the FilmGordon.com. Three-part series written by yours truly. And if you get to Oscar night and it doesn't work out well, remember what I wrote this week. Remember what I wrote. All right, man. So until next time, Charles, we tell you every week, please see something good at the movies. Charles and I have had the benefit of having seen the lion's share of all the nominees. You need to watch these so you can be fluent at what we're going to be talking about over the next 6 weeks. Until next time, you guys take care, peace, and we're out, man. You enjoy your weekend.